On today's edition of Fit Happens, we'll be looking at cycling as a form of fitness. Sticking with the lower body, we'll be training legs in the gym, and then also seeing what goes together to make a really healthy breakfast. Hello, and welcome to Fit Happens. This is the show where we like to help, inspire and motivate you to reach new levels of fitness while reducing your levels of fatness. My name is Chris Saremba from Fitness Over 50, and I'm joined by Keith Cormican. Keith, hello.
Hello. Hello.
So Keith, tell us a little bit about your regular nutrition regime. We know that you're a top nutritionist advising other people, but what advice do you give yourself and follow yourself?
I like to practice what I preach. I'm telling other people what to do all the time, so I like to actually do that myself. Probably easiest if I just explain to you like a daily regime of what I do myself. I'll get up, I'll have a small breakfast, a very light breakfast. That'd be maybe something like a protein shake, maybe with some oatmeal or some fruit, and my coffee with that. I'll go out on the bike and I'll do my cardiovascular work for 40 minutes. Hit quick train. This is very early in the day, so then I'll be back. After that, I'll get back, have a shower, have a bit of a wash, have my second meal of the day, which again is something very small, a base of protein and carbohydrates and healthy fats. 2 to 3 hours later, I'll have another meal, again, protein fats. Maybe that's something like whole grain pasta with a portion of fish. Usually it's fish based, eggs based, maybe it's chicken at a stretch. 2 or 3 hours later after that, again, I'll have another small meal, which is again, it's a pre-workout meal because I'll do my weight training, and then in the evening after I've fully woken up and after I've dealt with my clients for the rest of the day. It makes it sound like I'm just doing exercise and eating for the whole day. I'm not.
It does.
I have a life outside that as well, but I'm dealing with other people at that time. But I'll always make sure that I eat every 2 to 3 hours a good, just keep it basic, keep it simple, a good source of protein, healthy source of protein, a good healthy source of carbohydrates, except for the last maybe 1 or 2 meals in the day where you cut your carbohydrates down because you're not as active in the evening as you are early in the day. We're saying that if you're working out very late at night, what I'd recommend to people is after a workout or after any exercise, get your carbohydrates in as well after that, because it's very important to get those carbohydrates in to replenish the muscles, to replenish the glycogen stores after you've torn any muscle down.
And that's what you do for yourself?
Yeah, that's what I do for myself, and that's what I practice to my clients as well. So just keep it simple, keep it fairly basic. That's me on a daily basis.
Keith, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, we're off now to meet a sharp man in a sharp suit with a sharp question, and this is Alex.
My question is, I do a lot of cycling and running. Should I combine weight training as well for optimum fitness?
Well, Alex, I know you do a lot of cycling and running are great exercises for doing two things. First of all, building up your endurance and your stamina, and two, for helping with fat loss. Now, I know that you personally don't need to lose a lot of fat, but a lot of people do. So cycling and running, great for fat loss, and as I said, great for endurance and stamina. What they're not very good at is for building strength, for building power, and for building muscle. So going into the gym and doing some weight training exercises with either free weights or some body weight exercises or some resistance machines will help you add the strength you're going to need in, for example, the upper body for chest exercises, and indeed for lower body as well, because even though cycling and running use legs, they don't actually build the leg muscles, they don't actually add strength to the legs unless you're doing a lot of running uphill or a lot of cycling uphill. So I think any good exercise regime will involve both cardio activities such as the cycling and the running that you do, plus some weight training or resistance activity as well. Right, let's look at an activity that's close to my heart and close to Keith's as well, which is cycling. Now, Keith, you're a very, very big cyclist, aren't you?
Yeah, I love my cycling every day without fail.
So you cycle first thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, with regardless of the weather, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sleeting, if it's sunshine, I'm out there. First thing, it sets me up for the day, gets all the endorphins going, you know. If you can do that, you can do anything else in the day.
So 7 days a week, how far do you cycle on a typical morning?
I usually time it, so it's about 40 minutes the cycle, but it's always the same path, so I attack a couple of hills, a couple of different mountain ranges, well not mountains, but they're hills. To me, they're hills, but to me, I use them as making out like a mountain. I'm going up a hill on a mountain, and you come down, but I'll always do it after I've eaten first. Right. I'll have something very small, something very light, maybe even if it's just a protein shake with some coffee or something, because I've tried it in a fasted state to do my cardio similar to yourself. If it's for fat loss, then that's a different thing altogether, but I'm doing it for fitness and to try and just wake myself up in the morning, really.
Yeah.
And so it's different goals really.
So we were saying you can use cycling either for fitness gain or to lose fat. So are there different cycling strategies for the two approaches?
Well, I mean, you could do it if you do it in a fasted state. You do it maybe for a longer duration, lower intensity, maybe inside a gym, and you can time it and you can watch your calories per read. Like everything is all itemized. But for me, what I like to do is it's a challenge. It's a physical challenge that sets you up for the day, and it is for fitness. It's generally for fitness. So that's my own personal choice.
Right.
So each to their own, you know.
So you're saying about going up some mountains, your mental mountains.
My mental mountains, yeah.
First thing in the
I like
morning.
that.
But we've also seen you do some real mountains as well.
Real me, yeah, absolutely.
So I know that you went on a cycling trip to the Pyrenees fairly recently.
Pyrenees, yeah. Well, fairly recent, a couple of years back now.
Right.
But the south of France, like northern half of Spain, and it's beautiful. If you had that every day, you'd never keep me off the bike. I'd be on there every single day.
I think we've got a picture here of you attacking the Pyrenees.
Cool, yeah.
Any idea how high up you are at that time?
I'm not sure how high it was, but I know it was damn high because I was actually this was more of like a gradual climb on this phase, but it was a mountain every day. But you see, once you reach the peak, you've got that whole euphoria of coming down the other side. And you don't get that if you're on flat the whole time. You don't get that. It's to me, I can think of nothing better.
Well, no doubt that was a high climb in the Pyrenees, but you didn't stop there. You went to greater heights, I think. We've got a picture here of you in the Rockies,
yeah,
substantially higher than the Pyrenees.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I bet that was quite a
I got right to the top. I got right to the peak up here.
You got right to the peak up there. Well,
yeah.
I'll believe you.
Yeah, if you believe that, you believe anything. No, I didn't get right to the top. Obviously, I didn't. But it's just beautiful. I mean, look at it. You can think of nothing. It's legal. It's free. You don't have to do anything else. Just you and your bike, and you against the elements.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, last year I did a couple of fairly long road bikes rides. There's one I did in South Africa, and the South African ride took me all the way down from Cape Town to the tip of South Africa at Cape of Good Hope, and back up. That's for me with that's the Atlantic Ocean there. If you'd have seen that photo 2 hours earlier, or taken a photo 2 hours earlier, I'd have had the Indian Ocean next to me as I've rounded the Cape of Good Hope. So that's mainly a road bike trip, even though that is actually a hybrid I'm riding then, because I got to South Africa and I couldn't find a road bike to rent, so I ended up with a hybrid.
Either way is perfect. But look at that shot. I mean, it's beautiful. If you had that every day, you would never, as I said, you wouldn't keep off the bike. Yeah,
but although that's very much an activity for me for fitness, and it's very much focused on myself, I also do cycle rides, and I know you do as well, for charity. Yeah. And I also did one last year. I cycled to Brussels, and I cycled to Brussels on behalf of the Royal British Legion. Here I am just on the outskirts of Brussels on the final leg of the journey from, this is on the leg from Lille into Brussels. So I'm feeling pretty tired by that stage. But you've done cycle rides for charity as well.
Yeah, I mean, I cycled to Paris for a similar thing. It was for WizKids. Who was your charity?
The Royal British Legion.
That's nice. WizKids. If you're doing it for charity, it's a different thing altogether. It's not necessarily all about you. It's you're doing it for something else, a greater cause. Yeah. So that's where something like a road bike is more suited. You're there for a reason. But this is great. I mean, you want to watch those knees though.
Yeah, knees are a bit dodgy there, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I just noticed.
Not sure my feet are the best angle there either.
Oh no, but it's still all good. For general fitness-wise, cycling is perfect. I love it.
My only excuse is it was at the end of a very, very long day's cycling, that was.
Yeah, you were tired after a few.
Absolutely. So cycling, is that your main sport, your main fitness activity?
It's my main cardio fitness activity, absolutely, yeah. Because it's suited to it's non-impact, you're not, whereas opposed to running, you're pounding the knees the whole time, and it's more, you can keep it up for a lot longer in your life. The only thing I'm not that keen about with cycling, whereas running has got a benefit, is you're depending on something outside of yourself. You're depending on something outside of your own body. So for example, if you get a puncture and you're miles away from home, that's it, you're stuck. Whereas running, it's just you, your body, and the elements. Secondly, the cycling, you're in a posture that isn't necessarily great for your physique, for your body. If you look at the Tour de France guys, they're like this the whole time. Whereas running, you're a lot more bolt upright. Your chest is up, your head is up, and it's probably better that way. But in general, I'm still I'm advocate of cycling over running.
Well, I would advocate running over cycling.
Well, there we go.
So I guess we're quite good to be together on this programme.
Uh-huh.
So Keith, thanks for telling us all about your cycling exploits.
That's great. It's all day on.
And I'm sure we'll see each other on a bike ride very soon.
Yeah, we should do one together. London to Australia.
Okay, that'll do.
That'd be good.
And we're off to the gym changing room now. Got a question from Nick about a detailed point of his nutrition.
My question is, now that I'm on a dairy-free regime, how do I get enough calcium to ensure my body's healthy?
So I know that Nick is trying to keep his calcium levels up while keeping his dairy down. He wants to keep his dairy down because he's not a big fan of the sugar that's in the lactose that's in dairy products. So a lot of people think that milk and dairy products is the only source of calcium. In fact, there's lots of other sources too. And I'd recommend Nick looked at things like a lot more green vegetables in his diet, particularly broccoli. Broccoli is a good source of calcium. And other things, nuts and seeds, good for calcium. And I think number one on that is probably almonds in terms of providing calcium from that. And finally, perhaps look at fish, sardines, mackerel, salmon. All of those are very good sources of calcium. Anyway, that will be my thoughts. Keith, anything to add?
Yeah, 100% right. You're 100% right. Green leafy vegetables. And it's interesting what you say about the sardines there too. That it's so true. It's in the bones is where the calcium is stored. And some people don't like them, and I can't understand that. Why don't they like the bone? That's the nicest part of that fish.
Right.
It's amazing. And how people are swayed into believing that if you're not drinking milk, you're not getting any calcium. You know, I've cut out milk from my diet. I've got clients that say that to me. I don't drink milk. I'm not getting enough calcium. It's rubbish. You know,
Yeah.
we're just being led to believe that. You can get calcium loads of different food sources.
Great. So, Nick, I hope that answers your question. Welcome to the FitHappens gym. I'm joined by Manoj Ketkar, and today, Manoj, we're going to look at legs. One of the three areas of body part training we're talking about for a typical week for you. So in legs, we're going to cover all aspects of the legs, both the muscles on the front of the legs, which are known as the quads or quadriceps, the muscles on the back of the upper legs, which are the hamstrings, and further down the legs, the calves, and also the tiny little muscle at the front of the shins, which is the anterior tibialis. That gets overlooked sometimes, but we'll cover it today. So we're looking at quads, hamstrings, and the lower leg muscles, the calves and the anterior tibialis. So that's the plan.
Sounds
Should we
good.
get on with it?
Yeah, sounds
Great.
good.
Right, we're going to do an exercise called the back squat. It's called a back squat because the legs are squatting down. It's back squat because the weight is across the top of the back. It's an upper leg exercise primarily, does the hip flexors as well, but it also works the quads and hamstrings pretty much equally. Most people regard it as a quads exercise, but I find it develops the hamstrings as well. So it's done in this area here called the squat rack. Grab hold of the bar a fair distance apart. Legs shoulder width apart, slightly pointing out. Duck under the bar. Take the weight on the fleshy bit of the shoulders. Walk back a step or two. Squat down. The first squat isn't very deep, but the succeeding ones are deeper until you get low enough that they are parallel.
Okay, looks good.
Then knock the bar back in. At all times during the exercise, you want to make sure the back is remaining vertical, in line, not so much vertical, but in line with facing forwards.
Try that.
So you're not dipping your head, correct? That's great. Bar back
Low
in.
enough?
That's perfect. Great, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Going to do a goblet squat now. We're taking a dumbbell, pretending it's a goblet, holding it close to our chest, legs pretty wide apart. From here we try to keep as straight back as we can. We don't want to bend the back. Bending your back introduces problems for the lower back potentially. So looking straight ahead, dipping down as far as we can go, and then up. Again further with each rep if we can.
Okay.
So coming right down,
So
holding
your
for a
elbows
second,
really need
if you
to
want
touch your thigh, ideally.
Elbows within the thighs
Okay.
or touching the thighs.
Okay.
Do you want to try that?
That's straightforward. This might be heavy for me, but I'll give it a go. Okay.
That's good. Keep looking up. Come up a bit more slowly. Come up a bit more slowly. That's fine. You're keeping your back nice and straight. That's perfect.
Now
Right,
another
well done.
breathing. Okay.
So an exercise known as single dumbbell standing calf extensions. Stand on a platform, doesn't have to be a machine like this, it can be anywhere where you have a range of motion both upwards and downwards, and something to hold on to just to steady yourself. From holding the dumbbell, we take the position to extend the calves by standing on tiptoe, then lower slowly back through the neutral position where the feet are horizontal, and then back down to the ultimate position in the opposite direction. And slowly lift again, and then slowly lower. As we go up and down, we're using both the muscles at the back of the calf, which is the soleus and the gastrocnemius, and we're also using the muscles at the front of the calf, the anterior tibialis. So a simple exercise, best done slowly, no rocking backwards and forwards. Concentrate on doing the action correctly.
Okay, I'll try that. And do you hold the weight on both sides as well?
Just one weight on one side. Doesn't make any difference really. By the time the weight has reached the calves, it doesn't. Whether there's no effectiveness difference between one side and the other. Remember, you're only using the handle to stop falling over. It's not taking any of your weight. Don't tip forwards. Try and keep as vertical as you can throughout the motion. That's much better. Remember, don't put any weight on that handle. That's just there to provide support. That's much better. Good pace all the way through. Yep, excellent. Well done.
Great.
Hi, welcome to Fit Happens. Welcome to my kitchen. This is going to be Fit Happens TV, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, the fitness athlete, Mr. Rob Chalmers. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Keith.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Good to see you.
And you?
Okay, on today's show, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through a nice, healthy recipe for breakfast. Quick, easy, and effective that anyone can do anytime. And it's going to be ideal for someone like Rob that's on Rob's level, a proper athlete. So before we start, let me just ask you, Rob, what would you normally do on a daily basis for your breakfast?
Depends what sort of timing I've got. If it's quick, I look for something easy. I'll just pop bread in the toaster, orange juice, something to get me up and going.
Yeah.
If I've got time, maybe poached eggs, porridge, sort of thing.
Okay.
It all depends on my lifestyle, my work, what I've got to do, how much time I've got.
Actually, I see that for some of the photographs, because we'll cut away to the photographs of Rob's now. You've got some poached eggs that you sent to us.
Yeah.
I see that you're having like the whole of the egg. You don't just have egg whites, because I know a lot of fitness guys and a lot of fitness celebrity guys, they'll just go for the egg whites, and stay away from the yolks, because the yolks have got the fat in, which I guess you guys know. But you go for the whole egg. That's interesting. Why would you do that?
I didn't used to eat eggs, and I had my cholesterol measured. I then went into the whole egg approach, took up a lot of eggs, started eating a high number sort of thing, 2-3 a day.
Right.
Then had my cholesterol...
Every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had cholesterol checked again, and there was no change. So for me, it didn't affect me, it worked for me. So
to me, it's a big misconception as well. Like people that just like avoid all the egg yolks and avoid all fats. It's kind of crazy, you know, and avoid eggs altogether. But obviously you're practicing what you preach, and you're looking good on it as well, so just keep it up.
Sure.
And you combine that with your carbohydrate source. You have your bread with that.
Yeah, the bread or oats, again, it's all time dependent.
Anyway, we'll get on with the breakfast. Let's get on with it. We're going to do some standard oatmeal today, so it's going to be something that you're used to, but I'm going to give a different twist on it to give you something different, maybe mix it up a bit with variation. Everyone gets fed up with a certain thing. So what we've got here, we've got some standard porridge oats, no added sugar, none of this kind of like sugar added and sweeteners and all that kind of stuff in it. It's just plain old standard steel cut oats. First things first, we're going to use a standard cup of oats. You can measure everything out, but to me, I prefer to eyeball things. Once you've done it for so long, I don't know about yourself, I don't want to be like faffing around with scales and here, there and everywhere. I just want to like get on with it. Yeah. You know what you're used to. So use a standard cup, just like a portion the size of your palm. We'll put this into a pan. We'll turn the heat on first. So we'll turn it on, and we will go for this one here, and we'll just turn it up. We'll put the heat on. So we've got your standard cup of oats, which we have here. We'll put it into the saucepan, and then we're going to put some liquid into that. So what I like to do, I like to use water with that. But you said you like to use milk?
Yeah, I go for milk with my oats, yeah.
What type of milk? Do you like just normal standard milk, or do you do?
I go with almond milk. I try to stay away from dairy, sort of.
Yeah, you stay away from that. Well, it's just so lucky that we actually have that today. We're going to make a mess. We've got some almond milk. So what we'll do is then, as you prefer almond milk, we'll use 1 cup of almond milk, and we'll use half and half. So we'll say almond milk, say half a cup. We'll put that in, and we'll go over. We'll use the kettle just for speed wise today, because this has been boiled and it won't take quite so long. We'll just, as I say, I like to eyeball it. It's probably a little bit too much here, but if we make enough, if we make too much, we'll make it for the two of us, because we'll both have a taste. And it's as simple as that. You could even eat it straight as it is, because you don't have to cook this stuff, but it's a lot nicer if you do actually cook it, as you probably are well aware. So it's simple. It's as simple. Anyone could do this. We'll just keep it stirring. So while that's cooking, it usually takes about, like depending on how the consistency you like it, it can take up to 3 minutes. While that's cooking, what I'm going to do is going to add something to make it even more of like a nutritional powerhouse that goes with that. Peanut butter.
Fantastic.
I know you said you like cashews.
Yeah.
But today we've got peanut butter, which is also really good. It's high in protein, it's high in the good fats, which is going to be good for you. So I'm going to throw that into the porridge as well, into the oats. It's going to come out absolutely amazing. It's going to taste great. So we won't use too much because this is really high calorie, as you probably know. But we'll just take it. It's pretty thick as well. So we'll just use. You don't have to eat the whole thing. Something like that. Something which we can just throw into the saucepan. Nice and easy, and we'll put that in there together. In the meantime, oh yeah, one other tip. Do you ever have cinnamon?
I don't know. I've heard people about doing it, but I've never tried it myself.
It's actually one of the best ingredients you can go for. So if you're going to have anything, if you're going to try and sweeten your oats up, I always recommend don't go for sugar. Okay. Like stay away from sugar or anything. If you're going to do anything else, stevia is another really good option. Okay. It's actually a natural sweetener that you can get that doesn't raise your GI levels. Your GI levels being your blood sugar levels. So now you can smell it. It's actually cooking. We're actually doing pretty good here. Okay, so the porridge are now all cooked to your consistency, to your liking. Yeah, let's go. Got 2 bowls. So we turn the oven off. It's simple, quick and easy, effective. Let's see what you think. It's like thick. Yeah, it's pretty thick. It's like being at prison, isn't it? This is your gruel, boy. I'll give you a bowl. Let's just have a taste of this. It's anything that's left over. I won't give you too much because you're on a diet, right? That's it, yeah. Also, what I've almost forgot, you've got some natural nuts here, natural mixed nuts, unsweetened, unsalted. So if you want to just take a handful of them, whatever your preference is. We've got some cashews in there too, which is your preference. It's gonna get walnut in there as well. And you can throw them all in together. You've got a nutritional powerhouse. Listen, Rob, thanks for joining us today on Fit Happens Kitchen. Join us next time when we're going to be coming up with some more recipes to help you get in shape to keep your ideal fitness life.
Well, thanks for watching. We're off to do a legs workout together now, and we'll see you next time on Fit Happens.